here we are. This is PropStream. This is what the software looks like when you go to the home page. Now, I'm going to basically go through and give you my favorite lists here. This will probably be about a 5 to 10 minute video, and we're just going to go through all the options that I've had the most success selecting. So, again, it's totally going to vary depending on where you are in the country, but we are going to go to pretty much where I am at. So, let's go Bristol County. All right, so Bristol County, Massachusetts, or, I live right over here, so this whole area we're going to target. So what we're going to do is we're going to owner-occupied, we're going to select no, right? So that's essentially absentee. 45% of my lists come from absentee owner lists. The other lists that I don't select this are high equity, vacant tax delinquent, code violation, water shutoff, pre-foreclosures. Those can all be owner-occupied, but we're going to go non-owner-occupied to start. I typically don't mess around with this one. So characteristics. So it depends on what you're looking for, right? So single-family, multi, 5+. I like 5+ because I'm a multifamily guy. Now, a hint for finding multifamily, whether it's a 2-family, 3-family, 5-family, whatever it may be. We talked about this before. Let's go to the bathrooms. Make sure we put a minimum of 5 in here. That's going to weed out everything below 5. So far we've got 1,500 properties. Really not that much, right? MLS status, I always put no. You can mess around with all this kind of stuff. I typically don't. Pre-foreclosure, bank-owned stuff on multis. Ownership. Sometimes I'll do, so individual is going to give you your mom and pop owners, right? So it just cut it down by 1,000, right? So it's only 585 in here. If I wanted to get rid of those and I only wanted corporate ones, I would select this one, and it's probably going to be close to like 600 or so. And so depending on what you're looking for, my favorite list and most successful list is actually just doing individual with mom and pops. I don't usually mess around with this stuff. Minimum years, I personally like 7. So owning something for more than 5 years, between 5 and 7, is typically the list that gives me the most or the highest return on my letters. And then the last thing I do is I come down here and we're going to go over to estimated equity. I like to put 30%. So 305 properties. Not that many, right? But you got to remember that I'm bombing this area, all of this, and I go up into New Hampshire as well. And so this right here is one of my favorite lists to pull. It's probably my most successful list to pull for multifamily property. So again, absentee, we select this, make sure the bathrooms are 5 and more, not on market, 7 years of ownership. Individual, again, we're trying to hit the mom and pops, and then 30% more. So that is list number 1. Land list. So we're looking for raw vacant land. Guys, this is probably my most successful list. I don't know what it is, but people just don't mail to vacant landowners. So we're going to reset this from before. So we're going to leave this alone. We're going to leave this alone. We're going to go over here and we're going to scroll. We're just going to, it doesn't matter what website you're using. They're all very relatively similar. Okay, so we're going to go to agricultural unimproved vacant land, commercial vacant land, industrial vacant land, and institutional, multifamily, residential, recreational. And I'll tell you why, because you can rezone a lot of land, and then vacant general. Okay, so this is by far the most successful list I have. I mean, I think I've gotten close to 15% return phone calls, a handful of times using this list, which is absolutely unbelievable. We're going to ignore the rest of this. We're obviously going to check no on that. Nothing on that. Ownership info. This one I actually don't mess around with any of these. Now you can, but there's honestly not that much of it in my area. So I tend to leave whatever the owner is, how it is. I do like to put years of ownership on here though. So we're going to go 5 for this one. Nothing here, nothing here, and nothing here. So 1,700 pieces of land that I can possibly send letters to here. Guys, I mean, I might get 50, 60, 70, 100 phone calls back on this. Maybe more, maybe 150 phone calls back. It really is impressive. Now, again, it could be just the location I'm in, but really those, after sending land lists many, many times, this is what I have found to be by far the most accurate. It's funny. So this list right here, personally, made a partner and I over $5 million in equity. We were able to buy a piece of land from a list like this for $275,000, and we built 21 units on it, and it has an equity now of $5 million in after all of the debt on the property. So, yeah, I highly urge, if you're a developer, you're looking for land, try this list out. I guarantee you're going to get calls back. And it's just a matter of knowing your stuff before you can convert things to deals. With Bristol County, so let's clear all of these filters. Now we're going to look for, let's say we want single family up to 3 families. Same thing, I'm going to hit no owner occupied. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make sure I select single family, condo, and this one right here. I'm going to exclude 5+. So for bathrooms, I'm going to put a minimum of 1, but I'm going to put a maximum of... I'm not going to put a maximum on this one. And the reason for that is, some single families can have 3, 4 bathrooms in it, right? So you don't want to exclude the bathrooms when you're looking for single family, multifamilies. And plus, we're not... If we were looking for 5 and larger, you put that 5 bathrooms in there to ensure you're getting a minimum of 5 units. In this case, it doesn't really matter. Now... So one of my favorite things to do when I'm looking for single families, multifamilies, is I like to put the square footage in here because I don't really mess around with small single family properties when I do flips. I like the 3-bed, 2-bath type flip. And so typically I like to see a minimum of 1,500 square feet. Year built, I like to see them before 1970. Earlier than 1970, or after 1970, I should say. And then again, MLS status, we're going to put no. Ownership info, I like to put individual again, and we make sure we're absentee owned. Hold on. For this one, I like to put 5. People end up moving out of their single family houses a lot faster than they will sell their multifamily. And so equity, again, 30% equity on this one. And what does that give us? That gives us about 1,000 properties in all of Bristol County. So that's actually not that much. So what I would then do is I would take this list and I'd go to Open Letter Marketing or Ballpoint, and I would have them basically take this and send it off. And I would, essentially keep track of how many calls back I get and go from there.